In this lesson, we're going to find the equation of a straight line from its graph or its sketch. To do this, we're going to use the intercept slope form of a straight line, y equals a plus bx. In this type of question, we are given quite clearly the y-intercept of the graph. And then we're going to use a second point given from the graph to find the gradient or the slope b. So in this example, we're going to find the equation of this straight line. The first thing we're looking for is the y-intercept a. So if we look at the graph, here it is, it crosses the y-axis at 4. So a equals 4. Now we're looking for a second piece of information. Now if we look at the graph carefully, we can see that we actually do know that it crosses the x-axis at -2. And knowing that, we can see there's a right angle triangle we can draw. If we've got the right angle triangle, we can figure out the gradient or the slope. So first of all, the gradient is positive because it goes up to the right. So we're looking for this right angle triangle, the vertical distance. And the vertical distance between the axis here and 4 is 4 units. And the horizontal distance between -2 and 0 is 2 units. Distance doesn't care about sign. As far as the gradient goes, we've already decided the gradient is positive, so we're just looking for the vertical distance divided by the horizontal distance. And we put those numbers in, 4 over 2, and we should simplify that, and that simplifies to 2. If it ends up being a fraction, we should leave it as an improper simplified fraction rather than use decimals. So the general rule for a straight line, the intercept slope form, is y equals a plus bx. So therefore the equation of this straight line is y equals 4 plus 2x. So let's look at another example. The first thing we want to do is see what a is, the y-intercept, and we can see that a is at -1, so a equals -1. Now, do I know a second point? Well, this point here is labelled on the graph with a dot, but it hasn't got the coordinates. We'll just write the coordinates down. 3 is the x value, and 1 is the y value. So we can draw our gradient triangle in to figure out the slope. So here's our right angle triangle, that's the horizontal distance, and there's our vertical distance there, and that's the right angle. So the vertical distance is how far it is between -1 to 1. Okay, distance, -1 to 0 is 1, and then I've got to go another 1 further, so 2 altogether for the vertical distance, and the horizontal distance from x equals 0 to 3 is 3 units. So the gradient here is positive because it's going up to the right. So we've already made that decision. So b is equal to the vertical distance over the horizontal distance, and we're going to leave it as that fraction because if I try and write it as a decimal, it'll be 0.6 repeater. I don't really want to write that. So the form of a straight line is y equals a plus bx for your course. So y equals -1 plus 2x on 3. Now you can write this same thing as several different ways. Y equals 2x on 3 minus 1 is the same. You just swap the position of those two. And some people write their fraction like this in front of the x term. It is okay. It's the same thing. I prefer to write it like this, but if you write this, it's still correct. Let's do another example. Here, first step is find the y-intercept. Here it is at 3. So a equals 3, the y-intercept. Now I've got a choice. I've got 2 points labelled with dots here clearly on the grid lines. And I'm just going to use this first point. It doesn't matter which second point you use. So we want to draw our gradient triangle in. And here's our right angle triangle here. And that's my right angle. And my gradient this time is negative, it's going down to the right. So make that decision straight away. And then I'm looking for vertical distance. And that vertical distance is from 1 to 3, which is 2 units. And the horizontal distance is simply 1. So vertical distance goes in the numerator and horizontal distance goes in the denominator. I should simplify that, so I can write that as -2. And of course y equals a plus bx is our intercept slope form. Replace the things we just found, and that's the rule for that straight line. We'll do one more example. So here is a graph of a straight line. Do I know its y-intercept? Now that's the x-intercept, that's not the one I want. The y-intercept is here. So a is equal to -5. Now our gradient triangle's there right in front of us. We can use the two axes. There's our right angle triangle. And the gradient is negative. I like to make that decision first. Then all I have to worry about is the vertical distance of my right angle triangle, which is that distance, and my horizontal distance. Now from 0 to -5, the distance is 5. So that becomes our numerator. And the horizontal distance between -2 and 0 is 2. So our gradient is 2.5. So the general form that we're using, the slope, the intercept slope form is y equals a plus bx. Replace these things we know, and that is the rule for the straight line.